Know that I'm going to kind of, I'm not going to go into all the details because I ain't got enough memory on this phone to do all that, but I'm basically going to go into BPD and SBPD's roles in these sex crimes by the guy who knocked my phone out of my hand last night. Uh, and he isn't the only agent of BPD and city under Weinberger City Hall. There's several City Hall people who are involved in this shit and the financial crimes. Now, to give you an analogy, Epstein's worst crimes, the one, and when I say worst, I don't mean on a moral level. I mean on a uh, level of uh, what your sentence would be. There is no death penalty for sex trafficking. Sex trafficking is what, 25 years? But because he was um, setting up American corporate CEOs and oligarchs and politicians, including presidents, for sex crimes in order to control them, as well as a lot of financial crimes in order to blackmail them, that makes him a traitor. That's death penalty. Once you're involved in that level of crime with the oligarchs, who are ultimately their lawyers, or they get them appointed as CIA, FBI, Goldwater oligarch Virginia G. Piper is a Department of Homeland Security supervisor who's got an apartment right here behind Hannaford's, who's been stalking me at Hannaford's. She's been stalking me since I baited her when I left my mother's and stepfather's home in Peoria, Arizona. I had Flickr articles going viral about Scott Rosier Mason and child predator Scott Mason, his father who was in prison for child pornography, and the guy I started the investigation and ended up getting him 20 years, Richard Edwin Beasley, but they targeted me to hide the fact that Beasley and Mason, they got all these victims because the Florida State's Attorney's Office that Chad worked at one point as a domestic violence prosecutor fucked up the case and gave him a whole lot of new child victims. And when they targeted me to keep me quiet about it, they let Scott Mason walk, who ended up murdering one of the kids that I was trying to help. Chad is on record stating this isn't just a Brady violations malicious prosecution case anymore. Their felonies got a kid killed. That's capital homicide. They did it deliberate and intention, and they didn't care. They knew this guy was a violent son of a bitch. He beat a black woman in a Walgreens parking lot. Luckily, she had a pipe in her floorboard and beat his ass right back. But he had several violent firearms offenses, and yeah, he was quite known. He was actually on probation for some of those violent offenses. And anyway, I baited Piper and all of her cronies, and now she's here in Burlington. She's made sure she bumped into me here at Hannaford, and she was trying to bullshit me just out of the blue, talking about, oh, we don't like the Reagans. And I'm like, why are you even bringing that up? I already knew who she was. I recognized her as soon as I laid eyes on her. I'm a portrait artist. And with a photographic memory, that means I recognize your facial structures. If I hadn't seen her so up close and in person so often in Arizona, no, I probably wouldn't have. And because we spent so much time, I helped her on the Celice, CELIESE, a missing kid case in Arizona. And there was a lot of volunteers helping with that case. A young 6-year-old girl was abducted. Anyway, the police involvement here, I'm not just being used as bait by the sheriff's department and the state police and Sarah George and Bernie Sanders. They know my training in counterterrorism, counterinsurgency. I'm going to pull people in, and then I'm going to go for the jugular. I'm going to rattle their cage, and I'm going to get them to implicate themselves and everyone around them. These police officers that were harassing me behind the church while I was plugged in, talking bullshit about alarms going off that didn't go off, or they got a call they didn't get. SBPD did the same shit. And I'm not going to go into all those details, but let's put it this way. One of their agents was going to my old camp behind the old Hannafords and behind what's now Tesla. He was there pulling his pants down and masturbating while looking at my tent on a regular basis. One evening, I caught him. In all his glory, and he ran up the hill before I could grab my phone and start recording him. And I think I did get some side shots of him. I don't remember. And he had a white bike. Well, he was there several times. And he would come at night, and of course it got dark earlier and earlier. So it doesn't mean he was there late, but even if he came at 5:30, it was already dark. He'd wear a ball cap, and it was very thick and lots of brushes and limbs. And he would couldn't use a flashlight because I would notice in the dark. It was a very small area, so I would have noticed immediately if anybody out there had any type of light source. And a branch would knock his cap off. I've got his cap. Actually, I believe I turned that over to one of somebody's undercover. I don't know, probably somebody who works with all of the above, with Hochul's and state police and whoever. They've got that ball cap. I collected it I bought a 10-pack. I always keep a 10-pack of latex or vinyl gloves from Dollar Tree. And I collect shit like Tent Slice Joe, who came out there and moved me to another spot after I got that eviction and no trespass, whatever the fuck you call it, from SBPD. And I got them to implicate themselves because I had my phone recording in my pocket when they showed up to serve me with the eviction, no trespass, whatever the hell it was. And they were lying to me and gaslighting me, and I'm like, and then she would take my words, Corporal Williamson would twist my words into something that I didn't say, and I'm like, that's not what I'm recording. I'm recording this. And I pulled my phone out and showed them. They hauled their ass the fuck up out of there. That's called consciousness of guilt. It was Corporal Williamson, Sergeant Burnell, and some other guy. What's HIPAA? What do you mean you don't know what the fuck HIPAA is? How can you be respecting HIPAA if you don't know what it is? And you're partnered with Safe Harbor and ultimately UVM and Howard Center and whatever. And then he said that's how I know you're all partnered. So this guy last night that's hunting down homeless women and addicts, and then not only using police to go after them and anybody they associate with, you're not just protecting that sex offender, you're protecting Autumn Caton too. She's on video coming on to me and gaslighting me about my autism and doing it in an indirect way where I'm ADHD and I get hyper-focused, and I'm like, and I posted about it. I tested them. I wanted to see who was who. At that point, her and Michael and Becky Burrell and the other girl were all pretending to be like separate people. They weren't letting me know they were working together, but I'm pretty sure they were. And when I basically mentioned that gaslighting, I didn't know her name. I just said, these assholes getting in my face, gaslighting me about autism and being hyper-focused. You sound like Bobby Jew, whatever the hell I said. Sure enough, Becky Burrell and DHS and BPD had Autumn already down at the damn transit center, put Becky Burrell on the bus, before, no, they can see, it's a long hike before I get to the bus stop. So they can tell which bus I'm going to get on. So they have her get on the bus up ahead of me. And then when we got off the bus at the station, oh, that's my friend's daughter. I'm like, okay, gotcha, bitch. But I didn't tell them that. So do I think Autumn wanted to have sex with me? No, she was it's still trying to seduce me using sex. It's still sexual abuse. I mean, obviously, female rapists operate a little differently. And now Senator Lauren Book, who's a famous child abuse advocate, whose abuser was a woman, some nanny. Her dad was a sheriff. She lectures about how women rapists abuse whoever their victim is. Ghislaine Maxwell and all of Epstein's other female, Piper, her friend Susan Boyce, her boyfriend's like, teach me how to make her come like a rocket. I'm like, you sick fuckers. I'm sitting here dying. So these motherfuckers don't care if they rape you while they kill you. It has nothing to do with romance. It has nothing to do with sexual attraction. It has to do with power and control. And Autumn's goal was to win my confidence. She probably thought I was going to crush. Why anybody would have a crush on a 500-pound reincarnation of Nazi Luftwaffe Hermann Göring, I have no idea. But her acting like I'm the threat when she's 500 pounds of perfectly healthy 26-year-old. My military dad taught me how to defend myself. And I'm terminally ill from cancer and she's been helping them murder me is laughable. You police are helping that sex offender too. Since they're all covering for Epstein's partners in crime, who apparently raped little kids, knocked them up, and then killed the babies. And I mean, just fuck out of here with this morality, this sort of victimhood. You know, we're the pillars of morality, and the police and these DHS and other politicians are bringing in the drugs to get people addictive, and then, you know, using Joe Biden and Strom Thurmond's crime bill rhetoric, calling us violent super predators. It's over. And especially when you're in bed with Mossad and ISIS and Al Qaeda, you're traitors. So that's 3 examples of how the police are covering for 3 other open notorious sex offenders. Oh, and 10 Slice Joe's on record coming on to me. And I don't record everything on the phone that is active and that I pay cell service for. I have 6 phones, all of which, the other 5 or 6 are on airplane mode. Some of them I completely disabled Google Play services. So even if the phone should happen to be connect to Wi-Fi, Google Play services disables Google's ability to see what all's on the phone. Matter of fact, none of the apps can access your files without Google Play services. So you all keep thinking you know everything that I've recorded and that you have copies of all the recordings. You don't. And when I went into Cousy and marched to the sheriff's department, they didn't need any of my recordings. They didn't even ask for the trail cam footage of the guy masturbating around my tent. They got their own footage, I guess. They already know who it is. They didn't even ask for a description. When I would say these people are harassing me and stalking me on behalf of the mayor and oligarch Virginia G. Piper at DHS, they started spitting out the names. I didn't name them. They would go, Joe, Jerry, Bill. They spit out the names. And the detective at Cousy, I walked down there the second time I walked down there, it was right after Bill and some lady was harassing me at GMT. They're a block and a half away. I said, come on, you want to follow me? You want to stalk me? Come follow me. Come follow me down to Cousy. And I immediately went online, I immediately posted, I'm on my way to Cousy. I invited him to follow me down there. I get down there, they have a Department of Corrections officer up at the top, looking back to see if he wasn't, when I walked into the parking lot, I didn't know which office was Cousy's. And I accidentally went back to the Department of Corrections. He wasn't looking at me. He was looking behind me to see if Bill followed me. That's their real-time surveillance. So you fucking cops pulling this shit, thinking that coming out to my camp, sending Park Ranger Preston out there, or the guy who came out there and threatened me the morning before they set Bernie's office on fire, had another snitch set Bernie's office on fire. You got no privacy. And I've said this 1,000 fucking times. This is child sexual abuse and rape case. It's sealed. And your suspects, they're not going to let you see what they got on your ass. So they had Autumn doing this sex stuff in hopes of finding out who the AA people were, who were doctors, lawyers, cops, nurses, nurse practitioners, and any manner of licensed professional who were mandated to do this investigation. Chad launched it in Florida, and then, he's a cop. He don't get to come into AA and hire people out of AA and then not pay them. And then when he gets put under investigation by other licensed professionals in AA who knows he's a cop coming into AA, and then he starts using his police power to investigate everybody in AA, especially other licensed professionals. That's just asking that's definitely an FAFO moment. You're asking to fuck around and find out. And we know they're doing that here. Dennis McMahon tried to illegally solicit my case and refer me over to some Social Security lawyers. No, when he knows there's evidence tampering going on that's affecting, he did all this bitching about the COVID crap. He knew that was all a scam. He should have marched me into the damn sheriff's department. No, he sends me over to some fucking crime fraud lawyers. So that's a violation of HIPAA by the police.